In Palestine, over 7,200 citizens have been illegally detained by Israel in the occupied West Bank since October 7th. In Argentina, southern governors threatened to stop supplying gas and oil to the rest of the country if the Milei administration fails to deliver the regular monthly federal tax revenue. And in Niger, citizens welcomed the lifting of sanctions, trade and travel sanctions by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Hello and welcome to From the South. My name is Belén de los Santos, and from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba, we begin with the news. In Palestine, over 7,225 citizens, including 80 women, have been illegally detained by Israel in the occupied West Bank since October 7th. In a statement issued by the Prisoners Club, they denounced that since October 7th, more than 2,850 administrative detention orders have been issued by the military, a practice they claim is part of the aggression strategy against the Palestinians and the ongoing genocide in the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian organization condemned the torture and ill treatment of detainees by Israeli forces. According to human rights groups, administrative detention violates due judicial process because it allows for no evidence to be presented against prisoners while they're detained for long periods of time without charges, trial, or conviction. World Health Organization spokesman Tariq Kazarevich reported that the Israeli siege on Gaza has generated unprecedented levels of destruction, stressing that between 70% and 80% of the civilian infrastructure has been destroyed or severely damaged. The official estimated that it will take up to 12 years just to clean up the debris and war explosives, and tens of billions of dollars to reverse the overall economic damage. Quoting a UN report, Kazarevich indicated that if the attacks were stopped immediately, it would take until 2092 to restore Gaza's gross domestic product levels. The aggression against Gaza by the Israeli occupation forces has forced 85% of the population to be displaced amid severe shortages of food, fresh water, and also medical supplies.
When I go to the market, I can't find anything at all. There are no vegetables or legumes. Unfortunately, no one is aware of what is happening in the northern Gaza Strip. Not even the Arab countries. We are dying of hunger. 500,000 people are starving. In the next days, many people will die of hunger and not for bombs.
Sunday marked the 142nd day of war in Gaza, with Israel's continuous shelling, a dire humanitarian situation, and the killing of yet another Al Jazeera journalist. Another 8 Palestinians were killed in an attack near a busy market in Rafah this Sunday. Meanwhile, people are facing starvation and babies are dying in hospitals because their starving mothers do not have breast milk to feed them. That was the case of a 2-month-old baby who died of malnutrition in the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza City. On its part, Norway's embassy in Palestine shared a social media post mourning the death in Gaza of 2 Palestinian human rights lawyers. Also in Gaza City, critical patients in the Al Ali Arabic Hospital are waiting hopelessly to be transferred abroad for treatment, and the hospital has been caught in material and personnel shortages amid Israeli siege in Gaza. Israeli attacks to the hospital and its surrounding have left it almost incapable of treating patients, while the number of injured Gazan residents coming to the hospital has been increasing, especially those with severe symptoms. Among the critical patients in urgent need of treatment abroad is 14-year-old Matt, who was shot in the jaw by an Israeli sniper in early February when the teenager went to Kuwait roundabout in southeastern Gaza City for supply aid.
If there is another explosion or any danger at the hospital, there will be no milk, nor there will be machines to treat my child. I don't know what to do. The doctor told me there is no hospital in Gaza Strip that can treat me. I need to be transferred abroad for a bone transplant. Otherwise, my leg will be amputated.
Also on Sunday, Mahmoud Abbas, president of the State of Palestine, met in Amman, capital of Jordan, with Jordan King Abdullah II and the Crown Prince Hussein bin Abdullah. In the meeting, the Palestinian leader addressed the latest development on the Palestinian scene and the ongoing contact with all parties to immediately stop Israeli aggression against Palestine and bring humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, especially to the north, which is exposed to real famine. Abbas reiterated its rejection of the displacement of Palestinian people and warned of the grave dangers resulting from the occupation army attacks on Rafah city. Meanwhile, in Spain, Madrid citizens demonstrated in rejection of the genocide committed by Israel against the civilians in Gaza. Citizens of Spanish capital met at the Puerta de Atocha train station to reject the sale of weapons to the Israeli regime. The demonstrators denounced a double standard by the government and asked for specific measures to be taken in order to recognize Palestinian people's rights. The demonstration took place after a report revealing that Spain was the European country to sell the largest amount of weapons to Israel in November. All this in spite of the fact that the government had ensured that arms sales to Tel Aviv had ended after the beginning of the siege against Gaza. And in Bogotá, Colombia, citizens and organizations staged a cultural event in support of Palestine. The Believer Square was a scene where hundreds of citizens and organizations rallied united for the cause of the Palestinian people. With different slogans and chants, the activists demanded an immediate stop to the violence against the Arab people. The cultural event, called Together for Palestine, sought to show solidarity with the hardships of the Palestinians and to reject the genocide being inflicted by Israel. Now let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up, stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. In Argentina, Patagonia region governors threatened to stop supplying gas and oil to the rest of the country if the Milei administration fails to deliver the regular monthly federal tax revenue. On Saturday, the governors of the 6 provinces of the Patagonia region met by video conference and once again supported the claim of the Chubut province governor, Ignacio Torres. Reportedly on Monday, Torres could be filing a lawsuit against the country's administration over the allotted federal tax revenue. Moreover, all 6 governors supported Torres' decision to turn off gas and oil taps for the rest of the country as of next Wednesday. And they are also considering introducing legal motion in Congress should the administration fail to deliver. The foreign minister of Venezuela received his Turkey counterpart in order to strengthen bilateral relations and cooperation between both countries. During the meeting, the diplomats discussed issues such as the upcoming state visit to Venezuela of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. They also announced that Turkey will host the meeting for the 4th Joint Commission to be held during the month of May. Areas such as mining, petrochemicals, and tourism are among the areas of cooperation between both nations.
We have seen trade cooperation between Turkey and Venezuela grow. The exchange, the import and export of products between the two countries is becoming more and more important. Venezuela has become an important supplier of petrochemicals for Turkey. Just a week ago, we had the visit of the Turkish Energy and Natural Resources Minister, and together we are planning to develop the entire Venezuelan energy sector.
For his part, Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said both countries entertain good relations, especially in the areas of trade, mining, and energy.
We are moving forward in our need and will to advance bilateral relations between Turkey and Venezuela. As you know, relations between Turkey and Venezuela are improving more and more, especially economic relations in trade, mining, energy, agriculture, and tourism. We have a great potential.
In other news, in Mexico, at least 10 people were killed in a car accident on a highway in the Mexican state of San Luis Potosí. The state's Attorney General office said that the accident happened early on Saturday morning at kilometer 17 in the community of El Salitre in the Rio Verde municipality. According to official reports, 5 women, 1 man, and 4 minors died in the accident. The prosecutor's office also said the bodies were removed and transferred to the coroner's office. We move on to other topics. In Nicaragua on Saturday, a 5.6 magnitude earthquake shook the northwestern area of the country, luckily without causing any damage or fatalities. According to the Nicaraguan Institute of Territorial Studies, the quake occurred around 4 o'clock in the afternoon local time, with its epicenter 23 kilometers southwest of the Corinto municipality in the northwest of the country at a depth of 34 kilometers. The agency said it resulted from the clash between the Cocos and Caribbean tectonic plates. Even though there were no victims nor material damages, Vice President Rosario Murillo urged people to put into practice multi-threat readiness drills designed in the industry for this kind of events. In Ecuador, 86,000 people have been affected by heavy rains, floods, and landslides in more than 5 provinces of the country. The National Risk Management Office said that so far 6 people are reported dead, 7 injured, and 542 people have either lost their homes or have had to evacuate, and other 19,000 houses have suffered structural damage. Authorities say that although rains are usual this time of year, El Niño weather pattern causes an anomalous increase in the seawater temperatures, and they also warn that there's a lot more rain coming for the remaining of February and throughout the next month of March. The government of China renewed a cold wave alert in different regions of the country where temperatures are expected to set records for this period. According to the National Meteorological Center, the minimum daily temperatures in some regions will be 5 to 7 degrees Celsius lower than normal average. Authorities urge the concerned departments to do a good preventive job and adopt measures to protect livestock, poultry, tropical and subtropical fruits, as well as aquatic products and crops in order to reduce losses due to disasters. They also called on citizens to avoid outdoor activities and urged them to take special care against the presence of ice on roads in order to prevent accidents on roadways. We have a final show break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and also share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Final show break, don't go away. Welcome back from the South. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, lifted the economic, trade and travel sanctions imposed on Niger with the aim of reversing the coup d'etat staged in that country. The decision was released by the regional group's chairman, Omar Alier, today, after the bloc's meeting in Abuja, capital of Nigeria, aimed at addressing the existential threats facing the region, as well as urging 3 joint-led nations that have left the bloc to rescind their decision. Today specified that the measure is of immediate effect and due to humanitarian reasons to mitigate the suffering that was caused as a result of the sanctions. However, he explained that there are individual selective sanctions as well as political sanctions that remain in place.
Everyone is very pleased with the lifting of the embargo. For us, it's like a celebration. Everything will return to normal. Supplies will come in. Poor and the rich will be able to eat. We can assist the most vulnerable. The month of Ramadan is approaching, mid-March. And if product prices drop, everyone should be able to feed their family. Therefore, the lifting of the embargo is excellent news, and we thank Allah.
In Namibia, several African leaders have attended the state funeral of former Prime Minister Geingob. The ceremony was held at the Independence Stadium in Windhoek. Geingob succumbed to cancer this past February 4, 2024, at the age of 82. Born in 1941, Geingob was a prominent politician since before Namibia achieved independence from a white minority-ruled South Africa in 1990. He chaired the body that drafted Namibia's constitution and then became Namibia's first prime minister when the independence was declared on March 21st of the same year, and he remained prime minister until 2002. In Belarus on Sunday, over 75% of the people took part in parliamentary elections. Over 5,000 polling stations were set up to elect deputies to the lower house of parliament and local councils. These elections are being held in keeping with the latest constitution passed in February 2022, which states that members of the parliament and local councils will be elected for 5-year terms. Over 6 million citizens in Belarus are eligible to vote, including 95,000 Russian residents. The Central Electoral Commission reported a turnout of more than 65% in several provinces. They also noted the participation of over 45,000 local observers and 294 international observers. Incumbent Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko had this to say about the hopes of the opposition in these parliamentary elections.
There is one goal. They need to turn Belarus in the opposite direction. And in order to do so, it is necessary to overthrow the current government. This will be very difficult, I'm sure, especially after this single voting day in our elections, because we will elect absolutely reliable, intelligent people who understand the tasks facing our people. Therefore, none of their options, even the most radical ones, will work in Belarus.
On Saturday, medical doctors in South Korea staged yet another protest against the government's plan to admit another 2,000 entries to medical colleges. The government says it aims to add up to 10,000 doctors by the year 2035 to address what it calls a shortage of doctors exacerbated by the country's fast-aging population. South Korea's doctor-to-patient ratio is among the lowest in the developed world, particularly in essential but low-paying professions like pediatrics, emergency departments, and in rural areas. Many doctors say the measure will only hurt the quality of medical care and education in South Korea.
At this point, our goal is to make the government realize that this is a wrong policy, and we urge them to start the dialogue from scratch. I think it is the collective goal of 140,000 doctors. I believe that myself, the emergency committee, and all 140,000 doctors will voluntarily work together until the goal is achieved.
And on Saturday in China, the highly anticipated 2024 Lantern Festival Gala entertained the audience with a captivating blend of traditional Chinese culture and cutting-edge technical innovations. This year's gala showcased a diverse array of performances encompassing music, dance, comedy, opera, and acrobatics, inviting a global audience to immerse in the enchantment of sparking lanterns, engage in the tradition of guessing lantern riddles, and participate in the celebrations. The gala ended in songs paying tribute to the dragon culture in China and the unity of the people across the country. This festival takes place on the 15th day of the first lunar month, marking the end of the New Year celebration. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and also TikTok. For TeleSUR English, my name is Belén de los Santos. Thank you for watching.